The Raptors are set to tip off a new season, but what should we expect from this young team? Hey everyone, welcome to Inside The Raptors. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Raptors and NBA writer Ryan Wolstat. And Ryan Masai Ujiri used the word himself, rebuilding, to describe this upcoming season. It's not a word that he's used very much, if at all, during his tenure as GM and, of course, president of the Toronto Raptors. But a lot of young pieces with this team. We, of course, know the core, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Scotty Barnes. But what should we expect from this team this upcoming year?
Well, Rob, you've probably heard that in pro sports, they say you're either selling wins or you're selling hope. And this year, the Raptors are definitely selling hope and not wins, because the wins are going to be hard to come by. I think Vegas has them over under right around 30 wins. And that probably seems accurate. I mean, they won 25 last year. They were at about a 30-win pace when Scotty Barnes went down, and then everyone else sort of went down as well. So I think 30 is maybe even optimistic, to tell you the truth, because, the injuries have already hit before they've even played a game. A bunch of players are going to be out for the opener, or RJ Barrett is questionable. So you can't expect them to play fully healthy. I think if they were fully healthy, they could maybe challenge for a play-in spot and 35, 36 wins. But I mean, it's hard to expect after everything that happened last year and everything that's already happened in training camp for that to happen. So expectations should just be, have fun, develop the young guys, see if Scotty Barnes can make another leap, and, just sort of get, by the end of the year, hopefully be a little more competitive and have more defined roles, and maybe some of the young guys have a better idea of what they can do, so that you go into next season maybe anticipating being a little bit more in the thick of things. Because this year, it's going to be a long year, but at least there's going to be a lot of season 30 activations, throwback nights, former players honored, because they're going to need a lot of distractions this year, I
think. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some opportunities to think about better times with this Raptors team. So I mentioned the core: Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. If Grady Dicks watching this video, he probably feels like he's part of that as well. And I think a lot of people would put him in that category. And at least during the preseason, Ryan, he looked like he should be part of that conversation. He is now stepping into a starter's role. Based on what you've seen, do you think he's ready for that next step?
I think maybe it's a little bit rushed. I think if the Raptors were actually trying to compete for the playoffs, maybe someone else might make a little more sense. Like Ochai Agbaji is maybe their best wing defender, him and Scotty Barnes probably. And, maybe if you wanted to prioritize defense, he would make a little more sense. But, that's not the important thing for the Raptors. As we said, they're trying to develop these guys, and Gradey Dick is definitely one of the main guys that they need to get going and to make several steps forward. And you saw it last year, where he looked way, way better the last little bit of the season after being pretty lost as a teenage rookie. He's looked way better in the preseason and just way more confidence. He's put on some weight. He's scaring opponents now, where they run at him at the 3-point line and he's putting it on the floor. He's cutting really well, just finding a lot of open looks and some sneaky, smart plays. He's a smart player as well. And so I think it makes sense. You're trying to develop this guy, as I said, and his shooting, you can never have too much shooting, and he's probably the best shooter on the team. So the defense, that'll come and go. He's definitely going to put the effort in. But at this point, yeah, it does make sense to let him run with that role.
So if we look beyond the notable names, as we touched on, there's some returning players as well, whether it's a Kelly Olynyk, of course, or a Bruce Brown. But are there a couple of guys that you look at that maybe are not getting talked enough about right now that could make a pretty big impact by the end of the season?
I think people are forgetting a bit about RJ Barrett, just how well he played. You could argue that he was at an all-star level upon joining the Raptors. So I'm really interested to see if he continues that once he's back in action from his shoulder issue. And similarly, eventually, I want to see what the rookie Jacoby Walter can do, because he's really talented. I think he's going to take some time, but later in the season, once he's back from his own shoulder thing, I want to see what he can do. Jonathan Mobo looked really, really raw, the other rookie. So I think he's going to take some time as well, and you can expect to see him a lot in the G League. And I think we talked on the previous video that maybe Jamal Shead will break into things sooner than the other rookies, and I'm really interested to see him. He's super fast, super tough, super smart. He can't shoot, and that's about the only weakness, but I'm interested to see what he does. And then Emmanuel Quickley is probably the other guy. Like, this guy got paid to be a starter, a good starter. It's what he wanted. It's why he, wanted out of New York. And I want to see what he can do, like, as the man, or the man alongside Scotty Barnes, who's actually the man. But, Emmanuel Quickly's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and they're going to ask a lot of him. So he's another guy to keep an eye on.
All right. Well, as you said, the Raptors are selling a lot of hope this year, and we'll see if they can live up to that promise and what should be a pretty interesting season for the Toronto Raptors. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Ryan Wolstat, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.